Yo, yo, yo. It is I, once again, the wary one. And I don't feel like being on camera for this, but this is another random Raw review. The first one probably in a year or so? Probably not that long, but it feels like a long time. Anyway, this is the Raw for number 691. This is the official report for it. It's on August 21st, 2006. This is the Raw after SummerSlam 2006. And I just watched this one because I kind of wanted to see some parts of it. I haven't seen the whole Raw. I knew some parts of it. I just wanted to see what it was like. And there was one segment I kind of never saw, and I was curious to see. And we'll talk about that when we get to it. But this is a Raw that, if you don't know it as the after SummerSlam Raw for 2006 SummerSlam, you might know it as the Raw where D-Generation X put the DX logo on the WWE plane, jet, and on the headquarters of WWE. So let's start out. We start out Raw, old school opening of the still I think the Union Underground. Yeah, this is Union Underground era Raw. They move to the music, play the fucking music. Ooh, yeah. So we start with a SummerSlam recap, and I'll just recap the main recap to the song of "Enemy" by Godsmack, and pretty cool to actually hear it on the Peacock. So essentially, the main things we have recapped here is Chavo and Ray's match at SummerSlam, which ended with Vicky turning on Ray, and starting an association with Vicky and Chavo, blah, 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 blah. They don't show Batista and Booker T's world title match, but that ended in a DQ win for Booker T after Batista hit him with a world title. They show the D-Generation X McMahon's tag match, or parts of it. Basically, what Vince and Shane had, they made it an ODQ match, I believe, and it was Big Show, Finlay, Mr. Kennedy, William Regal, the Spirit Squad, and Umaga interfering. And DX really only had Kane help them against this, and that Kane only helped them because they told Kane in the backstage saying, "Oh, you saw him going to somebody's locker room and talking to the guy. You can see who it was." That Vince McMahon was saying Umaga was the new monster in WWE. Kind of a dumb setup for a reason to help out, whatever. And then, so they saw DX getting their ass whooped. They have a comeback and they beat the McMahon still. Because they do, whatever. And kind of weird, they have like 8 dudes interfering before the match begins, and then they get beat more and they still win. But, whatever. Like, they were never going to, like, the McMahons, this is where the feud was eventually going, and it's good they beat the McMahons. And it's going to lead to some cool stuff on this show, some memorable stuff. And they also showed a brief clip of the Orton Hulk Hogan match, which is a match I've seen, but I don't really remember. Then finally, the Edge and Cena match, where if Edge got DQ'd or counted out, he could lose his title. And he tried to use several tricks in the book as they showed. And he finally used Lita to pass with brass knuckles, hit Cena in the back of the head with the brass knuckles. And this was in Boston, Mass, by the way, and he got the win, taking his title. Really weird way to end SummerSlam. I mean, I was happy that Edge was still champion, but it definitely didn't feel like the feud was over. And it kind of felt like that should have been the end of the feud, in my opinion. They did lead to a great match at TLC. I forget. And we start Raw with Edge. He comes out, and he does a version of the Raw promo to the crowd where you're wrong, that promo. He does that. But this was a few years before he'd do it again, and he'd do it to more members of the crowd. He does tell a kid, "Hey kid, you're wrong." And it's pretty funny. And he gets in the ring, and he lays in his back, and starts saying wrong, wrong, wrong. He talks about beating Cena, yada, yada, yada. This leads to him saying, "Oh, where is my title, and where is my lovely bride, I think he calls her lovely woman, Lita." And Lita appears on the screen on top of her bridge, wearing the SVR07 attire, where she's racked and stacked, looking amazing. And he says, "There's the most beautiful diva in WWE history, or no, the sexiest diva in WWE history, with my championship. What are you doing?" And he goes, and he says, "Well, and I'm here on the bridge, Long Island Sound, and I honor my feud with John Cena being done. I'm going to throw this thing." He goes, throw it into the river. And she did, and Edge made a comment about, it's basically not even my title. It's basically his. And he unveils the rated R spinner belts, which you've probably seen. That was cool. And he makes a promo where he says, done with Cena. The chapter's closed on that. And since I'm starting a new chapter, anybody who wants a chance to come face me can come out here tonight. But be warned, I'm not someone that you can take lightly or something like that. And then we get the loaded theme, the Jeff Hardy making his return after 3 years to Raw. And Edge makes a pretty savage comment that's been forgotten about, where he says, Jeff Hardy, didn't you die 3 years ago? And they have a brief tussle because Edge says he needs to learn from his brother Matt Hardy. And then he says, oh, but he's an even bigger loser in your family than you are. Or no, you can learn to be a bigger loser in your family than he is. Something like that. Anyway, he gets twisted or faded, I don't know. And that's about it. And then we get, that go to commercial. That's all for now. We'll join the story later. There's a opening match tonight, a 8-man tag match, the Spirit Squad. Before the W Tag Team Champions, all 5 of them. And it's Johnny, Kenny, Mikey, and Nikki with Mitch. Nikki, the featured Dolph Ziggler, of course. First is the very bizarre team of the Highlanders, Robbie, McAllister, and Rory McAllister's old gimmick is that they're like these Scottish dudes with kilts. Eugene, whose gimmick is he thinks he's special. You know, that he's special. Eugene's special. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan, whose gimmick is that he says USA and tough guy and carries a 2x4 around. So this is a weird match. It's also the longest match on the show, which is saying something. It's okay. It's not. It picks up near the end, and the Highlanders are actually kind of over here, which is kind of shocking to me. I don't remember them being that over, and they're actually kind of fun to watch. You know, oddly enough, I kind of dig their look, and goofy as the gimmick is, it's kind of an interesting gimmick. Anyway, the good guys win, as you can tell. The Highlanders hit their like double Samoan drop thingy they do. It was kind of weird. That's all over done for. Then we get Edge going in the back. And he marches into Vince's office. He's pissed off. And there's Coach working on a Bowflex. I wonder why he's working on a Bowflex. Anyway, he says he wants to get Jack like Vince McMahon. And she's like, I don't care. I want to match with Jeff Hardy. And the Coach is like, wait a minute. You want to put your championship on the line against Jeff Hardy? And he's like, let me try that one more time. Hey, no, I don't want to put my championship. I want Jeff Hardy in a match. And Coach goes, well, Vince McMahon isn't here. I don't know if I can do that. But wait a minute. Hold on. I do remember he gave me some privileges. So you know what? You can have the match. And then there you go. Whatever. Then we get Trish Stratus wearing a very basic attire, like literally a tank top and yoga pants. First is Victoria wearing some red bra and panties with the black Victoria name on the back. And yeah, this was okay. Victoria did do one cool looking backbreaker counter. The Trish looked nice, and Trish sold it really well, where she like kind of caught her. She like kind of grabbed her up, like grabbed her head and her leg and slammed her down her knee. But there's really not much to say here. Trish wins in the end with the Stratisfaction, the chick kick and the Stratisfaction, and that's it. It was very short. Then we get to Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon going into Mr. McMahon's office. And wouldn't you know it, he goes in there, and he's like, oh, I fucked up. Sorry, this segment, this is out of order, because I remember. Alright, so let me rewind that. Let me try that one more time. So, Vince McMahon I think the Bowflex scene with Coach happened before the tag match, 8-man tag. So, Vince goes in the back after the 8-man tag with Shane, and he looks at Coach and he goes, get out of my office or whatever. He leaves. We see on the screen D-Generation X, and Triple H is cutting this weird promo in an office, like an announcement, and Shawn is playing with a toy plane and making an explosion sound like do. Triple H, whose hair looks very fantastic here, by the way. It's kind of amazing how good his hair looks. Says that they decided instead of going to Raw in Bridgeport, Connecticut, they would visit the Titan Towers. Well, they would visit the I forgot what he says, but it's where they keep the plane. So we see them briefly on the plane. Oh, Shawn does a pretty funny thing where he like jumps on the table, like rolls around like he's on fire. He's like, very Ricky Bobby-esque, which I think was the year before Ricky Bobby came out. So maybe Will Ferrell saw that and he's like, I'm gonna do that in my movie. Anyway, so this is getting kind of long already. They're on the plane, and we see just a brief thing where they're drinking like some cocktails or whatever. Triple H, Shawn are leaving. Shawn like puts his hand on the side of the plane and he leaves a little mark. And Triple H, whoa, you got to be careful, Shawn. What are you doing? These planes cost a lot of money. You can't just keep moving around. And Shawn's like, well, do you think he'll even notice? And then like at the end, they walk a little farther. We see they spray painted the DX green logo on the tail of the plane. Vince and Shane are watching, and Vince is so angry he starts making some weird animal growl like that, and he throws the TV down. This is pretty funny. Fuck Vince McMahon. He deserved that piece of shit. Anyway, that's why after the Trish match, he comes out and he has a promo where he says, "Oh, well, you people like DX, they're gonna be fired. Get out here now so I can fire you or something." And they don't come out. Instead, they reveal that they went to the headquarters of WWE after the plane, and now they're saying that Triple H has this funny promo where he says, great, you're a great man, Vince. We know that, even though we've had our issues with you. You're a great man, and great men make their mark. They make their mark. Like, Marco Polo, he's like, Neil Armstrong, when he made his mark on the moon, when he took his first step and planted a flag, and I forget who else he says, and then he goes, Shawn Michaels tries to chime in with, and that rich guy that climbed Mount Everest, he left his mark. He goes, and we Triple H says, we DX, we want to leave our mark, because we are great men. And then the camera goes away, and the DX logo is spray painted on top of the building. And then the camera's far away. Triple H pulls down his pants and moons everybody, even though you can barely make out his ass, but it's pretty funny. And Vince is losing it. He's having a gasket. Shane isn't too happy. They go to the back. We go to commercial, and they go to the back. And then they're all going to the back. Vince looks like he's ready to literally kill a man. And Mick Foley is sitting there after he just had a grueling I Quit match at SummerSlam, looking kind of banged up. He's got like kind of marks on his arm and like taped up, and he's got a black eye. And he's like, "Hey, Vince." And Vince McMahon is not happy about this. He goes, "What did you say to me?" And he goes, "Hey, Vic." He goes, "I said, hey, Vince, how you doing?" Or whatever. And then he says to Vic, "You've done a lot of things for me. I want to give you an exclusive offer, like to join the exclusive Vince McMahon." And before he can finish the Kiss My Ass Club thing, Vic starts off. He goes, "I want to thank you. I'm in a lot of pain tonight. I want to thank you for giving me a laugh, because there is no world where I would ever join the Kiss My Ass Club." And then he says, "Oh, was that so? Because if you don't, somebody's going to be fired tonight." And there you go, our cliffhanger. And then we get Jeff Hardy and Edge in their match. And it's a match. It's not really that good. It's 5 minutes long, but it doesn't feel like it. Feels like way faster. They kind of just do some stuff. It does have a good intensity to it, and the crowd's really into it. But, of course, John Cena's got to come out and attack Edge when it was really just getting interesting. Like, literally, Jeff Hardy hits the swanton, Edge rolls out of the ring, and him and Lita walking back. Cena comes, DQ. And they do have a pretty cool little moment where they keep fighting in the back. They go all the way. They go to commercial. We come back, they're fighting near that Long Island Sound. John Cena has a funny line where he throws Edge into a tree. Like a really small tree, like a palm tree, and he says, "Take this, you tree-hugging son of..." There you go, you tree-hugging son of a bitch. And then eventually Cena gets the Edge on his shoulders, and he does what is essentially our third or fourth moment of the night. A lot of moments on this Raw. He gives him the attitude, or the FU, it was the FU at this point, into the Long Island Sound. That was amazing. Looked good. And then from there, we have a brief interview in the back, Randy Orton and Ric Flair, where it's brought up by Todd Grisham that Randy didn't beat Hogan. He promised in Hulkamania. Randy Orton points out that he did hit the RKO on Hogan. Everybody saw it. Everybody knows that he actually won that match. And Hogan found the way that you don't worry about it or whatever, basically. And he says tonight he's going to beat Ric Flair and in his legend. And then Carlito is looking at it, and he's like, "What are you looking at?" He goes, "Oh, what are you playing, Randy? You lost to Hogan. You promised to beat him." And he goes, and Randy says, "How about you not worry about me and Hogan? The fact you weren't even on the SummerSlam card tonight. You're a joke with your apples." And so, and that's how the segment ends. Carlito doesn't say anything. Yeah, anyway. We then get the Kane and Johnny Nitro Intercontinental title match. Oh, we get a brief segment with Foley and Melina talking backstage about the I Quit match, because the finish of the match was Flair was going to hit Melina with a barbed wire bat as she was covering Mick, and he was literally about to hit her, and Mick goes, "I quit." And they talk about, and he talks about how he doesn't know if he can have it in it, if he can look himself in the eye, if he kisses Vince McMahon's ass. Yeah. Then we get Kane and Nitro in a match that barely goes 2 minutes before we get interference, but it was pretty good 2 minutes. Nitro's hitting some cool shit. And Umaga comes, because of course he does, because of what happened in SummerSlam. And he beats Kane up, and he actually hits a pretty cool variant of the Samoan Spike where he's like jumping from the second rope, and Kane is laying down, but he sits up, so he takes it like that. It looks cool. Umaga kind of was like with the RKO with the Samoan Spike. Oh yeah, a pretty funny line earlier was, I forgot to mention, was Triple H mentioning that at SummerSlam, the McMahons used a limey, a leprechaun, male cheerleaders, a chubby giant, and a cannibal to try to beat them. And I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be a cannibal, but yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, anyway, so we're almost at the end of this. It feels very weird because there's, like, the show has had a frenetic pace, which I like. I did enjoy the pace of it and how everything goes kind of boom, boom, boom. But the matches have been really lacking. Yeah. And we get Orton and Flair in a very short match. Orton basically beats the piss out of Flair, and Flair chops him a few times, and then in the end, he RKOs him. Then he keeps beating him after the match. Decision's reversed. Randy's not happy. He goes lead, but he's going to beat Flair some more. Carlito comes. They have a brief tussle. Carlito gets the better of him, and that starts really the feud between Orton and Carlito. And it was just, that was pretty cool. We then go to our Vince McMahon kiss my ass town hall meeting. So Vince is out with Shane. He's mad. He's upset. He's furious. Foley comes out with Melina, which feels kind of weird. Anyway, Vince makes a remark that Mick Foley's the first person to ever bring a date to the Kiss My Ass Club, and Mick Foley cuts him off. He goes, "Don't you dare say that, Vince." And he says, "I want to make it, you could fire me tonight, but all these fans, my legacy stands as it is. And you know what else? I don't remember if he says he's rich or I have a lot of money, but he says one of those things. And he says, so if you fire me, I'll be fine." And then Vince goes, "Oh no, I never said you were getting fired. If you don't come here and kiss my ass, then your friend Melina is gonna be fired." And Mick is not happy about this. Melina immediately goes, "No, Mick, don't do it. Listen, you don't have to do it. I can find something else to do." He goes, "No, Melina, you have a future in this business. You could be one of the top stars, and I can't let that be thrown away." Which I love Melina, but that's kind of a funny statement. Okay, and he goes, "See, this is pretty great," because he mentions their real life history, that she's his goddaughter to his kids, which is, I don't know if that's still true, but it was at one point. I assume it's still true. Although they're older now, so I don't think they need a mother, but whatever. But anyway, yeah, so this leads to a really funny but crazy scene where Foley immediately as he's deciding he's going to kiss Vince's ass, he mentions to Melina, later tonight, we're going to go have a few drinks, and I'm going to forget this ever happened. And we're going to have a few laughs and a few drinks. And then he immediately turns to Vince, and in this crazy voice, he's like, "All right, you son of a bitch, you miserable son of a bitch, pour your pants out. I'm going to kiss your ass." Vince literally looks scared, like he doesn't know what he's got to do. This is fucking crazy. This man's literally going to have to pull his pants down so he's going to kiss his ass. And Vince is like, "All right," and he does, like, super speed. And Mick, like, puts his face, and you don't really see him kissing his ass. So, he puts his hand by his face. So, still nasty, because I hate to kiss my ass off. I think that still was disgusting. And, but okay, so now he finishes, and they're about to leave, and he's standing there, and Melina low blows Mick Foley, and then she says, "You're fired," and Vince and Shane both leave. We get a weird thing where they're walking in the back, and the camera keeps following them, which is a pretty cool little camera trick. You don't see that much. Well, it follows them all the way to the parking lot. And Vince on the way is telling Shane about how he feels better. And, then he gets outside and immediately says, I was wrong. I don't feel better. I still feel like DX is going to get me at any time. Shane's like, "Oh, let's just go to," I think he says, "go to a party." So they get in a limo. And as they do, they're driving away. You've probably seen these scenes too. There's like this wire attached to the back of the limo, and it pulls the tires out. Vince immediately gets out. He's yelling at the limo driver. And then he sees what happened. And he grabs the back of his neck and he goes, "Oh, and that's the way Raw ends. And yeah, this was an interesting Raw, you know, for what it was. It was kind of fun to visit some of this. Not a strong Raw. The moments were fun, but the matches really weren't anything to tune in for. And the storylines were kind of weird. I would think if they could have just had Umaga helped Nitro beat Kane and retain his title, like actually by pinning him, why not? That would have been better. But anyway. Oh, and also the main event between the Kiss My Ass Club. It definitely was interesting, especially with Mick Foley yelling at Vince. As much as I hate the Kiss My Ass Club, that's just gross as hell. Never was a good thing. Obviously it's worked. He's putting his face near his ass, but still. But the thing with Melina turning on Foley, leads to nothing. Like, Mick talks about in his third book, the Hardcore Diary, or third autobiography, the Hardcore Diaries, about how this was a plan of his. But I don't remember what it was supposed to lead to. But it doesn't lead to anything. Nitro doesn't really do much from it. Nitro, who's Melina's managing, and they were together in real life through this time. You'd think it would lead to something where Mick Foley would be the special referee for a Johnny Nitro match to make sure he doesn't cheat. So at least that way he could get his revenge on Melina. But no, I don't even think it's ever mentioned again. It's basically forgotten about at that point. So it was a really weird segment. I did like Mick screaming, "Okay, you miserable son of a bitch, pull down your pants. I'm gonna kiss your ass." That was pretty funny. And the DX stuff was great. Jeff Hardy return was great. Throwing the title in the trash. Yeah, I always loved the radar spinner. But anyway, that's my takes on this Raw. The Raw through SummerSlam. And have a great day. I'm gonna watch SummerSlam later today, the new SummerSlam 2020, this year, and hopefully it'll be a good show. But anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye.